Welcome, everybody, to the March 25th Board of Education meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so if the Board of Ed is okay with all of this, I think we're going to have Mark Haddam come up first, take things a little out of order, and recognize our winter athletes first.
Very good. Good afternoon. Oh my goodness. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me. Nice to see everybody. We need to start this meeting with a very, very, very special part of our high school community, our district, and a very special group of young men and women that I've known since I started in the district. I was walking in with Ms. Bloom tonight, and we were having a throwback to 2016 when a group of students came in the district and are here now and compete in our Special Olympics team. I want to call those students up, and I want to honor them for their years of commitment to the district and just for being such a special, special place in the high school. So without further ado, what I'm going to ask is Mr. DiFilippo and Mr. Tetro, two of the three of our Special Olympic coaches are here. So I'd like to ask them to come up with their student athletes, and we'd like to talk about a Special Olympic program a little bit. So coaches, athletes, if I could ask you to come up, please, that would be great. So, Shawnee. So, we are going to start, instead of having me speak, I invited our students to come up and say a couple words. Just to talk about our Special Olympic program very quickly.
Where's our meeting?
Our Special Olympics program Our Special Olympics program competes in 3 seasons. We play basketball, we play team handball, we play soccer, we go bowling, and then on top of that, our high school students, folks, I want to tell you something very special about them. Our high school students are also multi-sport athletes. They also compete on our cross-country team and our winter track and spring track team. So they are with us every day, Monday through Friday, all 3 seasons. We have a wonderful team that I'm not going to take the time to talk about, but a wonderful, wonderful team. Many of them showed up tonight, and I'm so fortunate for all of you for everything you do during the school day and after the school day. So thank you for being here. So I'm going to kick it off over here to Miss Esme Manuel. Esme, never embarrassed, came in today. She said she was a little shy, but I think Esme's going to absolutely dominate this opening. So Esme, it's all you.
Hi, my name is Esme Manuel. I am a senior this year. I've been playing in Special Olympics for 4 years. I love every minute of it. I participate in basketball, soccer, handball, and bowling. Special Olympics taught me about team effort and loving everybody there. And for teaching me about teamwork. I also love having fun with everyone on my team. I have so much experience playing with them, and everyone helped me out with Special Olympics. Let's give it up for Summers. Let's give a warm welcome for all of the teachers and athletes who made this program fun.
Amazing work, Esme. Thank you so much, Esme. And I'm going to actually have the rest of the students read very quick, but something we do here in Somers and board and speaks out commitment for everything we do. Once a year, we host a huge Special Olympic tournament here. It takes all day, 2 of our buildings. So thank you to you guys for all your support and hosting that every year for our Special Olympic local chapter in Westchester County. Before I hand it off to the students, I think I did see, is Miss Elkonin in here too? Miss Elkonin, thank you for everything as well. Thank you. So I'm going to call the students up, and they are going to just say a little something, and then we will move on. So, Esme, you said something, but I want you to come up because I have a certificate for you. Congratulations, Esme, for all you do. Our next athlete, William Armstrong. Congratulations to William. Thank you so much, William. Joey Provenzano. Joey, come on up here, Joey.
Hello, my name is Joey. I love handball. This year, thank you to my coaches.
Charles Yazzo.
My name is Tayaso. I love basketball.
Hey, Coach,
Thank you to my
you're not gonna be something.
coaches.
Good job.
Mr. Shawnee Cabo.
Attention passengers, this year, my name is Shawnee. I know it's me a headache. 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 I know it's me a headache.
Are you excited that your favorite sport is basketball, Shawnee?
My parents was basketball.
Shawnee Cabo, everybody. Miss Deanna Donnelly.
My name is Diana. My name is Diana. My name is Diana Donnelly. Basketball this year. Thank you to my coaches.
And we'll wrap with, Deanna, I think I gave you the wrong one, sweetheart. I'm sorry, folks. Our last athlete, Landon Tierney.
Thank you to my coaches.
Thank you again to everybody. Appreciate you coming out. Thank you.
Finish the athletes.
For the second straight season, we did it in the fall and we again in the winter. Every single one of our winter varsity teams qualified for the Scholar Athlete team. So we're 2 for 2, folks. I spoke about it at last meeting. Hopefully, we're 2/3 of the way there. We're getting all of our teams. We'd like to honor our boys track and field winter team, our girls track and field winter team, boys wrestling, gymnastics, skiing, cheerleading, boys basketball, girls basketball, boys bowling, and I think that's it. So congratulations to those teams for winning Scholar Athlete, meaning a certain percentage of your team needs to have over a 90% average, and all of those teams did that. So great work there. Love to see the success in the classroom. A couple league championships. I was thinking coming over here today, you know, they say death and taxes, and to me and Somers, it's death, taxes, and our track and cross-country program. They have won every league championship for as long as I feel like Somers has been here. So we have 2 wonderful coaches, some amazing captains showed up today. So if I can just ask our coaches, Coach Lacko, Coach Veg, our boys on the team, and Coach Veg, Kira's here representing the girls' side, just to come up and accept your certificate. Congratulations. Nice round of applause for our seniors. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Come over here, Kira. And on to our individual accomplishments for the winter season, which were massive in our world. So first up here is Kira Cleary. Kira, you see outside at 2:30 or at 5 o'clock. She's out there running, and I always talk about that sport. It is just you versus the elements and the track, and it's amazing what determination and work ethic can bring you. Kira qualified for the New York State Championships in the 600 meter. At the state championship meet at Ocean Breeze in Staten Island, she finished 17th in the state. She ran a 1:36.69 to set the school record in the 600 this season, a record that has stood for 20 years. Coach Veg always talks about 2 things with you, Kira, whenever I check in. She talks about your personality and just the joy you bring to a practice and a competition, but he also talks about your work ethic. He notes that after a very grueling spring season in 24, you took 1 week off and your only focus was to get to states in the winter, and you did it. Kira is going to be going to the University of Rhode Island next year to continue her running career. Very proud of her. Congratulations for all you've done, Kira. Thank you. I'm sorry, the certificates got a little cloudy here, so I will hand them to the athletes after the presentation tonight. Miss Haley Donovan, unfortunately, can't be here because I believe Haley is training. Haley was a state finalist forever. I'll read about her. She's going off to SMU to run. Really exciting for Haley. I mean, it was between Georgetown and SMU. I can't go wrong, right? So, but hopefully we'll see Haley up here in the spring for the 200 meter and whatever else she qualifies for. Haley came in 3rd in the state this year in the 300 meter. This is the 5th time Haley has qualified for the state championship meet, twice as a sophomore, twice as a junior, and now as a senior. She ran a 38.85 in the 300, breaking her own school record. It is the third fastest time ever run in Westchester County history and the fourth fastest time ever in Section 1 history. Haley is a goal setter, and much like I spoke about with Kira, they are just out there grinding all the time, summer, winter, and everything in between. So congratulations to Miss Haley Donovan. Our next state finalist for seems like forever now, but the best part is he has one more year, is Mr. Ryan Ball. Come on up, Ryan. So Ryan's been wrestling, I think, probably by the time he stepped foot in Primrose. Ryan went to another state tournament this year, and for the first time this year as a junior, he achieved one of his lifelong goals of being an all-state wrestler. I want to go ahead and talk about Ryan's tremendous junior year. Ryan was first at the Mamaroneck tournament, 7th at Eastern States Classic. Eastern States a wild event. It's the best wrestlers from all over. I went up, where was it this year? In Albany? I forget where I go sometimes. And there was a wrestler there from Wyoming, and they come from all over. Ryan had a monster tournament, came in 7th. First in our Somers tournament, which is the important one, Mr. Ball. First in the Westchester County Championship, second at the Mayaback tournament, second divisionals, second in sectionals, and like I said, 6th in the New York State Championships. He has been all-county 4 times in his career, all-league 4 times in his career, all-section 4 times in his career, all-state this year, the 8th one in Somers wrestling history. He has 156 wins. I know maybe there's an outside chance of 200 wins next year. No pressure, but 200 wins next year. And as you can tell from Ryan, the pressure doesn't bother him, right? That smile is gold. So. And Ryan, when I was thinking about you and writing this up, I think about you're not going to be just one of the greatest wrestlers in Somers history. You'll certainly be one of the greatest athletes in Somers history. And it's not just about your wrestling accomplishments. I just want to talk about some of the things you do when you're not wrestling. So wrestling mats are a grind. They go late. They go long. And at the end of every wrestling mat, you need to clean the mats. And it's to every coach, it's, guys, clean the mats, right? Coach wants to get home. Everyone. And Ryan you're the first one out there, and you're the first one talking to your teammates, encouraging, and I think it's just such a small sign of leadership that after all your accomplishments, you're still willing to get out and do those things so your teammates know you're an equal playing field and you're willing to work as hard as them. I'm always so proud. I love seeing that from you, Ryan. The community, right? Ryan spent a couple hours this year taking pictures with our youth kids one night after a long practice in the midst of his state championship run. We posted them on social media. I love seeing you do those things, Ryan, giving back to our youth. And in a year where our program faced some heartbreak and we went through a very trying time in our wrestling community, Ryan, your care for the sport, your love of your teammates, and how you represented our district is something I and we all are very proud of. So thank you and congratulations, Ryan Ball. Next up, Miss McKenna Mullins. Come on up here, McKenna. So McKenna came in 6th. McKenna's graduating. She's a senior. We'll miss her. She came in 6th as a freshman in New York State in the New York State Championships. Unfortunately, her sophomore and junior year, McKenna, with injury, couldn't compete for our Somers team. I was super excited to see her competing and back her end of her junior year last year. She came, I believe you came in 11th nationally down in Florida. Was that where that tournament was? Came in 11th nationally last year as a junior. And then she came to my office and she said, Ms. Adam, I'm coming back to Somers. And I'm like, great. That's we have a chance. McKenna came in 2nd in New York State this year in gymnastics. She came in 2nd, which coming in 2nd is amazing, but what I learned afterwards is the young lady that came in 1st, I guess, set a New York State record, right? So, and McKenna was this far behind her, and the champ was just had this wonderful historical performance, or else McKenna would have been a New York State champion this year as well. She finished, so the all-around has 4 different events. I'm learning gymnastics. And McKenna won the vault in the section and came in 2nd in the vault in the New York State. McKenna also came in 3rd in the bars, 4th in the floor, 5th in the beam, and won the sportsmanship given out by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association. It just tells you everything you need to know about McKenna. She's quiet now, but personality plus in the best way possible. McKenna's going off to William and Mary to compete next year, and McKenna, one of my favorite moments as an AD this year was I had McKenna down and we were talking about William and Mary, and I looked at her and I said, McKenna, I have no idea about William and Mary. The school, what is it? And McKenna, we spoke about it. So McKenna, I urge you, I came up with a couple facts. We're running a little late, that I was going to speak on some interesting facts about William and Mary, but I look forward to you coming back down to the office, studying up on that William and Mary facts, so when you get there, you are ready to roll, and not only dominating the classroom, but in the community and on the gym mat. So congratulations, McKenna. Three U.S. presidents were educated at William and Mary, folks. Just so do you remember them, McKenna? Why we love her. All righty. And finally, Mr. Chuck Sullivan. Where are you, Chuck? So I'll start at the end here with Chuck. Chuck, last Friday was Charlie Sullivan Day here in Somers, as presented by Town Supervisor, Mr. Rob Astorino. We brought Chuck down to SIS with Coach Lacko. Absolutely, it was awesome. He did a Q&A with the 4th and 5th grade. And as someone that's been in that building at SIS, I've seen some town halls. I've never seen those kids as focused as when you were talking, Charlie. So maybe you have a job down there. So Charlie is a state champion. So I just want to take an extra minute or two just to recognize what this young man has done. I want to talk about his mastery in the weight throw. Chuck has shattered records, achieving an astounding 73 feet 9 1/4 inches. While being a personal best, it's also a testament to your relentless dedication, Charlie. Charlie has broken the junior record, surpassing Somers' own Brian Luciano's 2021 mark of 59 feet 10 inches. And you have demolished the school record, exceeding Brian Luciano's 2022 mark of 66 feet and 5 1/4 inches. I believe Brian is still throwing at Binghamton, correct? So Brian was another fantastic athlete here. I want to talk about Charlie's championship dominance. At the Westchester County Championship, Charlie threw 70 feet 6 inches, setting a new meet record. At the Section 1 Class B Championship, he threw 71 feet 4 3/4 inches, setting another meet record. At the Section 1 State Qualifier, Charlie threw 72 feet 10 inches, meeting another meet record. At the Historic Hispanic Games, Charlie broke 3 major records, broke a NISFA Section 1 record, the Westchester County record, the Westchester Rockland Dutchess Putnam's high school record, and all 3 of these records have been in place since 1997, so have stood for almost 30 years. And the unprecedented improvement, you went from a personal best of 55 feet last year to an incredible 72 feet 10 1/2 inches this year. That's a 17-foot improvement, and it's a feat that is truly unheard of. Charlie also won the 2025, not only was he the state champ, the federation champ. The federation is not just against public schools, it's against private schools, Catholic schools, charter schools, every single thrower in the state of New York. I want to talk about Charlie's community service, active in our community with the youth, does some volunteer work for students with disabilities, and excellent in the classroom. Charlie has a 95 average. The one thing I'll say, well, 2 things, and then we're wrapped up here, is first of all, there is nothing better, Charlie, than getting a call from Mr. Lacko at like 10 o'clock on a Sunday night when you guys are headed home from the Armory. And I had to question Mr. Lacko's sanity this year, because he would call me every Sunday and say, he broke another record. I'm like, Mike, you do this every week. Like, what is going on? But that's what Chuck did, and he came out of nowhere, and now he's a state champ. And guess what? He's a junior, folks, so hopefully we'll be back here next year and doing this again. Your humility, your character speaks volumes to me. Last story, we had a new young man that came in the office, wanted to sign up and express interest in throwing. And I just looked at him and in my best professional advice said, Just do what Charlie Sullivan does. So I think that's, I want that on a t-shirt somewhere. Let's just do what Charlie does, and we're in good shape. So we're all so proud of you, Charlie, a state championship. You'll be in our gym and our banners forever, and congratulations again on a great year. So thank you. Board, thank you for all your support with athletics always. It means the world. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you, folks.
If we take a couple minutes.
Go. Congratulations.
Yeah. We're just going to pause for a couple minutes so we can just say a congratulations to the athletes so they can get on with their night, so they can all get home and get back to schoolwork. And okay, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that thing. I appreciate everyone giving us a second to congratulate those athletes and getting them home. And now for our final students, well, not final, actually, our Tusker Pride section of the evening, I believe we've invited some members of the drama club to talk about our upcoming production of Mean Girls, the musical.
Sorry. Hi, thank you so much for having us here tonight. So we are all representatives of both stage crew and the drama and the actors part of the entire high school drama. So my name is Antonia Dukakis, and I'm the president of stage crew. And as you'll see, not so much in the video, but if you come and see our lovely show, it'll be great. You'll definitely notice the amount of intricacy that it takes to put on a show, especially a musical. Our musicals are definitely bigger in just like general production. It's definitely really intricate, and yes, it gets stressful, but at the same time, working with these lovely people just makes it so much better, and I hope that we can share our pride and connection and love for the art of putting on these shows with you guys through the shows. So April 4th, 5th, and 6th, and we hope to see you all there.
All right, so Andy is a part of crew. I am Juliana Guida. I am president of the musical company. I'm also an actor in the show. I guess I'm here to talk a little bit about the cast perspective, the musical perspective. We are now on week 8 out of 10 of our rehearsal process. So we are kicking things off. The show is really coming together. For anyone who's a fan of the movie, has seen the movie, it is really rings true to it. It's a modern interpretation of it. The music is all killer. So I guess the show, it is really a dramatized version of what the high school experience is, but it also holds truth. Anyone can watch the show. Anyone who's been in high school, anyone who's currently in high school can watch the show and see themselves in one of the characters or an experience in one of the numbers. So I think that it is really a show for all ages. Of course, it is a high school show, so as much as parents and teachers hate to admit it, high schoolers curse, high schoolers make inappropriate jokes. However, for ages 10 plus, it is a wonderful show. I've really become really close with cast members and leads from all grades, and we're really excited to show it to you.
Hi, and I'm Mayak. I'm one of the leads in the show, as well as one of the officers on the crew board. And just to speak on both of those, we're 8 of 10 weeks in rehearsing as a cast, but we're also 8 of 10 weeks in building as a crew. And like Andy mentioned before, this has definitely been a grueling process of building. It's very intricate, very detail oriented, and very difficult at times. Just trying to figure out how we can make all these little pieces come together to make this big set and this big life that is high school. And it's really interesting to see that on both sides of cast and crew, where cast has been working so hard to bring together every little emotion and detail there is to high school, and this very, very, very nasty side, but also this very real side, as well as crew just bringing together what is the actual environment that high schoolers live in, and creating a set that is just super lifelike and moving, and really just as fast-paced as high school is.
Yeah, so you'd think it'd be simple building a set that takes place in a school. School, you have desks. It's a bit more complicated than that, but we were hoping to show you today a small clip of what we've put together. The show really does a good job of emulating the original movie, of bringing it all together as the nitty-gritty of high school. It really comes back together at the end to show there is community, there's love. So this isn't that number, but it is the introduction to our show. So I hope you enjoy.
Don't look at them. Just don't. Call those plastics. They're shiny, big, and hard. They play their little mind games on the back of the schoolyard. They might insult your clothing or make fun of your name. Like they mock and check floor cops, shape understands the flames. And this was a teacher. Regina George is the queen bee. She's always dressed up. She always wins spring fling queen. We're just drones who work for her and then die. That's Special Meters. She knows everything about That there's Karen Smith. She's the dumbest person you'll ever know. What's our big D in the word? My name is Karen. My hair is shiny. My teeth are perfect. My skirt is shiny. With berry colors, my perk behind me. My name is Karen. I may not be smart. That's it. On Wednesdays we wear pink. My ears red, my hair is shiny. Wear something nice and grab a tray, 'cause we don't do this every day. Say, here's where you belong. Say, here's where you belong. Never really say it. Say, here's where you belong. Tomorrow, it'll be that time.
That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
April 4th, 5th, and 6th, right?
Okay, now this brings us to our student council report from Jimmy Gallivan.
She's used to being first.
I know.
Good evening, everyone. Congrats to our winter athletes again, and good luck to our drama and stage crew as well. I just have a few updates about recent things that have happened in our schools. So on March 15th, the Somers hosted the annual Westchester and Putnam Science and Engineering Fair. With over 750 students in attendance. Students had the chance to present their research that they performed within the past year or so in a wide range of categories. And a total of 11 Somers students won awards at WESF. The list is as follows. Regina Ayubi, which she won the David M. Holmes WESF Engineering Innovation Award on second place. And then she also was second place best in category for engineering. She's also an International Genius Olympiad finalist. Michaela Eagleton won the Association for Women Geoscientists Award, as well as winning fourth place best in category for earth science. Evan Aronoff won the United States Air Force Award. Adriana DiGiacomo won the Environmental Perspiration Award. Charlotte Wilkie-Olson, Ingenuity in Math, Physics and Astronomy Award. Isabella Wisa, the Innovation in Biological Sciences Research Award. Sean McGuire, second placed best in category for Medicine and Health Science. Caitlin Garrity, third place best in category for Behavioral and Social Sciences. Sarah Hanford, third place best in category for Cellular and Molecular Biology. Anya Karana, third place best in category for Cellular and Molecular Biology. And Trine Storr, fourth place for best in category in Medicine and Health Sciences. Congrats to all who competed. Additionally, yesterday at the New York State Science and Engineering Fair, Charlotte Wilkie-Olson competed with her project on a new and novel method of detecting fuzzy dark matter. Charlotte placed first in her category at NICEF and qualified for the International Science and Engineering Fair, which is in Columbus, Ohio this May. ISEF is the largest pre-collegiate science fair in the world. There's over 70 countries and all 50 states there, and Charlotte's going to represent Somers in New York there, so good luck to her. Additionally, Somers High School is celebrating March Madness with an Oreo cookie bracket. So at lunch, we have Oreos that students can sample, and then each day, everyone votes on which Oreo they think should advance in the bracket. And students filled out the brackets before the tournament began, so they're competing to see who has the most perfect bracket, and the winner wins 3 whole packs of Oreos. So. Additionally, as we heard before, the SHS Musical Company is putting on their show, Mean Girls, April 4th, 5th, and 6th at SHS. We also, again, congratulations to all our winter athletes. And the class of 2026 recently took a class trip to Jumps and Thrills and Danbury for a fun day of obstacle courses, trampoline parks, and just a lot of fun in general. And in terms of some other student council updates, from March 9th to 12th, I traveled to Washington, D.C. as New York State's representative to the National Student Council for the National Education Advocacy Summit. There were over 30 students from 25 plus different states, as well as over 400 principals from all 50 states. And we got to meet and do a lot of work on advocating for education funding. Got to meet with some congressional offices, members of Congress, really ensuring that students are heard in that process. And additionally, this past February, the SHS Student Council hosted our Assemblyman Matt Slater at lunch for a discussion and Q&A on upcoming changes to cell phone policy in schools in New York State. So we got to talk with Assemblyman Slater, got to ask him a lot of good questions about these potential changes and learn more about what this could look like. And hopefully as the next year approaches, the Student Council is going to work with the SHS administration as well as the Board of Education to see what this could potentially look like in Somers. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you all and have a good night.
Okay, this brings us to our first public comment section of the evening. If anyone has any public comments for agenda items only. Since we've cleared out the place. Then that brings us to our central office report. the proposed 2025-2026 budget.
I'm just pulling it up here. Here we go again. All right, thank you. So here again tonight, another budget presentation as we're getting towards the end of the budget development cycle. Tonight I'll review the budget development process as well. We'll actually show the 25-26 proposed budget. And with that, then we go into more of the revenue side of the budget tonight. Previous presentations, we reviewed the non-instructional budget and instructional budget. Now it's kind of tying it all together and where's the revenue to be able to support those expenses. So we'll look at state aid projections. We also have some enrollment projections, and then we'll review the tax levy and tax rate, also with a sample tax bill calculation on there as well. And then just a history of the maximum tax levy and CPI that's used in the calculation, and then just show a brief slide on what the contingent budget looks like for next year. So again, as we're kind of still, like I said, gearing towards the end of the budget development cycle for the 2025-2026 school budget, I just reviewed the different presentations that we've had over the last few months, and we're getting a little bit closer here. Hope the board is looking to adopt the budget in April, and then a public budget hearing first week of May, and then leading to the budget and trustee vote on May 20th. As I like to remind everyone, when preparing the budget each year, we do have to have a balanced budget, so revenues and expenses must match. List out just some of the larger revenues: property taxes, state aid, and sales tax, and then some of the larger expenses that we have: salary and benefits, transportation, and debt service. All right, so looking at the proposed budget for the 2025-2026 school year, that top line shows you where the current budget is about, just shy of 111 million. For 25-26, we are proposing a $113,265,000 budget. Budget to budget increase, it's about 2.4 million, or 2.21% of the budget. The next line shows you the use of fund balance and appropriated reserves that we do to help balance the budget. That number is looking to remain flat as of today to help balance the budget. Payment in lieu of taxes, again, those are agreements with certain commercial properties that they go into an agreement with the town rather than paying the school taxes each year. They lay out this payment in lieu of taxes, but it's designed and agreed upon from the town, and it's laid out over X amount of years, depending on how long the agreement's for. Revenue for non-property taxes, just over $20 million proposed for next year. It's a little over $300,000 increase, which amounts to about 1.59%. The last two lines on this slide show you the tax levy and then the estimated tax rate. So the tax levy shown here is going up to $91,240,000, or roughly a 2.39% change. And that number is the maximum allowable levy limit this year without seeking a supermajority. And then the estimated tax rate, which is right below that, you'll see is, again, similar to the tax levy, but just slightly below, looking at an estimated tax rate of 2.29% of an increase. Again, the tax rate isn't set until August, when assessments are finalized by the town. Tax certiorari's that are settled between now and then could have an impact if that lowers assessments overall for the town.
And just to be clear, tax levy is the portion on the taxpayers that that's the maximum amount of money we can raise from taxpayers in the town.
That is the maximum that we can raise without seeking a supermajority,
which would be towards our $113 million.
Yes.
Are we getting any closer to resolving the tax issue with the two properties, or it's
we're still
kicking the can down?
I don't want to say we're any closer, or
they're making some progress, but I wouldn't say we're close.
Stand by, stand by.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Pepsi's resolved completely.
That one is
It's
resolved,
just
and, yep.
IBM that's left.
It's just the IBM, which is probably bigger than the Pepsi one at this point. So, and it's just gone on for a longer amount of years as well.
Yeah.
So every year that it's not settled, it's adding
Yeah.
to the potential refund that we would be having to issue to them.
Now, would we have to issue that refund all at once, or you get to spread it out? Or?
It depends on how the settlement is agreed to. With Pepsi, we were able to pay that out over 2 fiscal years. IBM potentially could be bigger than that, so any amount that we can spread it out over would obviously help us in the long run. So now just looking at the state aid projection, last year when the governor's proposal came out, everyone was thrown off by some of the things that were incorporated into her proposal. This year it was a little bit more straightforward, which was nice to see. As of right now, again, the state hasn't adopted their budget. They're still working on that. We're hoping to have that in time, which would be by April 1st. So the next budget presentation, we would hopefully have an approved state budget, so we'd know the actual numbers that we're working with. But as of right now, we're working off the governor's proposal that was put out there in January. But with that, foundation aid, obviously you could see, is our largest amount of state aid. And this year, we're looking at a 2% minimum increase for states, for districts across the state. We are looking at that 2% increase for us. So nothing additional. It's better than where we were last year, where we were looking at keeping it was going to almost be flat or even a reduction based on, from a budget to budget standpoint. Not huge variances in some of the other categories. The biggest one, I guess, you can look at is excess cost aid, and that is some additional special education aid that we get if students are placed at a district. And that number does fluctuate. So even the numbers that the governor uses in the proposal might not include everything that's been actually occurred for the prior year. So these are a little bit harder to estimate, but as of right now, we're gonna stick with what's in the governor's run. We'll see when the state actually adopts and they put out a new run on what those numbers look like.
But for the excess cost, does that mean we're paying less for these special education services?
Nope,
or?
definitely not paying less. Those costs continue to go up, but we.
Or we're just getting less money from the state.
According to the runs right now, but like I said, there's some schools that maybe stuff was not submitted to the state in time for some of these runs. So these numbers aren't necessarily set in stone just yet, so they can change. Like I said, the rest of the numbers for state aid are relatively flat. The hardware, software, textbook, and library, you see them going down just slightly. That's just due to the slightly declining enrollment that we have. Speaking of enrollment, just to show where we kind of stand as of today, March 1st, and then where we're projecting, or where the demographic study projected us for next year. You see the biggest decrease, a total decrease of about 70 students. You'll see that largest increase is at the high school, where it's going down, 60 or 70 kids. And we've seen that over the last few years. This is probably the last big drop like that. And then next year, or for 26, 27, we might have a smaller of a drop. And then seems like we're flattening out at that point.
Yeah, I believe the class of 2027 is the year that
starts
really
to
bottoms.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we won't see much of a dip moving forward.
Because according to this, it looks like 5 less in Primrose, 6 less in SIS, 3 less in middle school, and then 67 less in the high school. So
yeah.
You're not talking about a significant amount.
No, it's not. And again, even 60 or 70 kids, it's not a huge drop either way. That's going to have a huge impact on programs and class sizes and whatnot.
But I know that you guys have been very creative in shifting teachers around where needed in order
Absolutely.
to...
Yeah, this has, we've talked about the declining enrollment over the past, 10 years or so, and that has definitely helped us as far as just being able to maintain most of the programs that we have here. And we've added quite a bit as well over that last decade, but it's helped with the declining enrollment, us not needing to replace some of the staff that is needed as we've had smaller classes moving forward. It's helped us stay within that tax cap limit as well, because if we still had the number of staff members that we had 10 years ago, it'd be a different story.
Okay.
So this slide, it does look pretty busy. It's just giving you the last 5 years of the tax levy on that top there, going back to 21-22. And there's another slide on the tax levy as well that'll show where we've been as far as the maximum tax levy, but this has been the percentage increase that we've asked the voters to approve each year. And then the line below that is the tax rate. And you'll notice that those two arrows, the one in the 22-23 school year is for the Pepsi property, where you see that tax rate is a little bit higher, especially than the tax levy. And then last year, or for the current year, 24-25, that IBM property reduction, and you see that tax rate being a little bit higher than normal. Because when the Pepsi settlement happened, and then with the IBM property reduction, that's lowering the total amount of assessments for the entire town. So basically the rest of the town then needs to pick up what they were paying, their portion of what they were paying. So that's why the tax rate was a little bit more inflated during those couple of years. If that IBM property does end up settling at some point in the near future, that'll certainly have an impact on the tax rate if it came in with a reduction to their assessment. I don't know what they're going to settle at this point, but if it came lower, it's going to have an impact. But by the town reducing the assessment for this 24-25 school year, it helps lessen any kind of impact whenever that does settle.
And just so it's clear, you keep a certain amount of money in reserve that we're allowed to by law in order to help to cover those settlements as they hopefully will come in.
Yes, yep. We do have a tax cert reserve. If IBM settled at what they're asking, we would not have enough in there. But typically they don't settle where they're requesting. So we've put money in there over the last few years. So we've built that up quite a bit. Obviously with the Pepsi settlement, we were able to pay that off, like I said, over those 2 fiscal years. And then with IBM, we're hopeful that we'd be able, whatever the settlement is, that we'd be able to have enough money in there to then pay that off as well. And unfortunately, that's money that we just don't get back as the district. We're talking millions of dollars that could have been used elsewhere for lots of variety of things. At the bottom there is the estimated impact on school taxes for the 25-26 school year. $70,000 assessed value home, you're looking at a total annual increase of $300, and a $23,000 condo assessed value, you're looking at just shy of a $100 increase. And like I kind of mentioned before, the district doesn't set the tax rate. It's dependent on the overall assessments in the town, and then that all gets settled by August before the tax bills are sent out. So we always have a few questions as to the assessed value and what it means. So we thought this year that it'd be a nice idea just to throw a slide up. I just talked about that $70,000 assessed value and annual increase of about $300, but what does that look like to someone if they're just looking at their tax bill? And what does a $70,000 assessed value actually mean? So here, a home assessed at $70,000. So because that's not the value of your home, there's this equalization rate that the state provides each year. Currently, for this year, it's 9.78%. So basically, you take your assessed value, divide it by that rate, and that brings it up to the full market value of where your home would be valued at in today's market. So with that, again, the $70,000 assessed value based on the tax rate for this year, someone's tax bill would be $13,126.99. With the estimated tax rate for next year, that total amount goes up to $13,427.28, which is that $300.29 increase. So, and again, I know people sometimes when, my home is definitely worth more than $70,000. Yes, it is. That's because of this, the way the town doesn't assess people's houses at 100%, and that's why they have this equalization rate to bring it up to fair market value.
And you picked 70,000 because that's like a rough average of...
Yep, that's what, we've asked the town that, and it still kind of stands true as the average home in Somers here. So again, this slide is just showing the maximum tax levy history for the past 5 years. So looking forward to 25-26 and the current school year, we went to the maximum tax levy, just as far as with requiring a simple majority. The 21-22 school year, we also went to the maximum tax levy. You see those 2 years in between where we did not, which amounts to, a little over $2 million that we did not ask the community to approve and to pay school taxes on. Again, there's the I don't want to say issue, but sometimes by not going to the maximum, it's compounded now. That's $2 million that we're not going to be able to raise because we did not go up to the levy during those years. And, as we continue to have increased costs for health insurance and special education and general liability insurance, everything continues to go up. So that is money that we're not going to be able to ask unless we did try to go for an override and, go for that supermajority if we decided to exceed the maximum tax levy. So this slide, actually I'm going to back it up. So this slide is just showing again kind of where we've been over the last 5 years with CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, and with the amount that it's been for us in the state, and then also the amount for this Consumer Price Index that we are allowed to use in the tax cap calculation. So this first red line is showing what this CPI has been over the last 5 years. You see those few years in the middle, 4.7, then 8%, and then another 4%. But during those years, in our tax cap calculation, we were still only allowed to use 2%. So even though prices and everything is increasing, we were still only allowed to use 2% in our tax levy calculation. And, it does make it more challenging to make sure we're still able to provide the programs and services that we do here. But when prices outside of our control continue to increase by rates a lot higher than what we're able to include in our tax levy calculation, it's just making it challenging.
You basically have to absorb that cost without being able to raise more money.
Right. And again, one way we've been able to do that over the last decade or so has been because of the declining enrollment and the positions that we did not have to replace because of that. Then this green bar is just showing what the actual tax levy percentage was. And you see even at that 23-24 school year when inflation was at 8%, where we could use 2% in our calculation with the exclusions, our tax levy still only went up 2.8%. So it's a finite amount of money that we're able to raise via taxes, but costs just continue to outpace that, and it's making it challenging for districts across the state. One way we've helped to kind of balance the budget too over the last 15 years or so, that is on this slide, is just our use of appropriated fund balance and reserves. Again, going all the way back about 15 years ago, we were up to $2 million, and then at some point we were down as low as $25,000. And this past year, we were, just shy of 1.7 million. And as of right now, we're estimated to maintain that 1.7. With, between now and when we look to have the board adopt the budget in April, there's going to be just some minor adjustments to the overall budget. I don't envision the dollar value changing by much. It just might be shifting some expenses around, but very minor. But the one thing, when the state does approve their budget, hopefully by April 1st, that we will hopefully not have any less money coming our way from the state. It's always a possibility, but hopefully there's even a little bit more. And if we do get any more funding, we would just look to lower our use of fund balance and to balance the budget for next year. So nothing would really change in the, what we currently have in the budget. It would just be our use of our appropriated fund balance that we had to kind of put on there to help balance the budget that we'd look to reduce. So this slide is, again, just kind of breaking it down a little bit differently. You see on the revenue side, just showing that property taxes amount for about 80% of our total budget. Another 13 or 14% come from state aid, and then, again, that's almost 95% of the revenue. County sales tax is almost 2%, and then interest and other income, just another little over 2%. So, but again, the majority of it is coming from property taxes, and at least a small portion is coming from state aid as well. Then on the expenditure side, we have instructional costs of about 34%, special education 16%, and then employee benefits is about 25% as well, which we've talked about in an earlier presentation, and the costs that are associated with that. And then some of the other items, again, just, debt service, we're at about 6%, transportation, 6%, even buildings and grounds, 6%. So it's just a different way to show it, but, between instruction, special education, employee benefits, there's your kind of 75% of the entire budget.
And I imagine the 16% special education budget probably doesn't, some of it's probably going to be really that I don't know how I'm trying to, what's covered in that 16%, I guess, is really what I'm trying to ask.
So in there is just cost of teachers, teaching assistants, teacher aides that are designated as special education staff. Also, any out-of-district tuition that we have to pay for students that are placed outside of Somers. That's going to be the bulk of it. And then any other providers, speech, anything like that we're actually bringing in consultants for and providers, that's all incorporated into that budget.
Okay.
Can you just explain to everybody what the difference is between the central and building administration, so where they know
Sure.
up there?
So central is going to, maybe I'll start with building.
Which one includes what?
Yeah, so building administration is going to include your principals, that's kind of mostly your principals and assistant principals. I'm trying to think.
Directors.
Yeah, principals, assistant principals, any directors that are associated with that building, and then office staff as well, support staff as well, that are included in that building. Central administration is going to be Board of Education costs, superintendent's office, business office, HR.
Learning office.
Mm-hmm.
Learning office.
Learning office actually would be in central administration as well. Yep. And then some insurance and whatnot is also included in there.
Board of Education costs do not include salaries.
Do not include salaries. Yes.
Just so we're clear.
Just so we're clear.
We're going to get a lump sum at the end, right?
I understand that.
It's how much you spend on the water, right?
Yeah. So this last slide, again, if the budget is not approved by the voters in May, the board has a couple of options here. First, they can resubmit the same budget for another vote in June. They can revise the budget and then submit that budget for a revote in June. Or they can go straight to a contingent budget, which would be a tax levy increase of 0. So and no additional vote is needed if the board decided to do that. If we did that, if the board went with a contingent budget right away, or if the vote failed that second time in June, then we're going to that contingent budget with no tax levy increase, which would result in another $2.1 million that would need to be cut from the budget. And again, it's like kind of usually say, there's only so much supplies and whatnot that we can look to try to shed. It's going to be people and it's going to be programs that are going to be affected at that point. And that's most of the budget presentation. Again, on the ballot, assuming the board approves everything that's on the rest of the agenda tonight, will be the bond proposition, which is just over $63.9 million. We are looking to have our website go live sometime, hopefully this week. So there'll be more information on there. And then we'll be coming back to the board for a few presentations as we lead up to that May vote. And then there'll be a lot more information as to, when we'll be getting out, when there'll be some more opportunities for the community to come and interact and find out exactly what's in the project.
I think we've been talking about doing building tours and building presentations at each building so that people have an understanding of what is going to be
included at each building. Yep. So we will again look to get all of that information. It'll be a lot probably post spring break and then leading up to the budget vote. So it'll be those last 4 or 5 weeks leading up to the vote that there'll be a lot of opportunities for the public to gain even more knowledge of what's going to be included in this project and what's not going to be included.
Great.
And that's it. And again, so April 22nd is when looking to have the board adopt the budget. Like I said, I don't imagine too many changes to the budget from here between now and then. The only thing, I think it just depends if the state, what that looks like when hopefully the state approves their budget come April 1st, and then we'll make the determination at that point. Okay.
Has the state ever approved their budget by April 1st?
They have, but sometimes it's not as that. And as we've done in the past, if it's not approved before the board adopts the budget, we've typically just left it. We never had the board come back to adopt a different budget at that point. We're just going to go with what it is. And again, usually it's a change in the state aid projections. So, and like I said, if there's any change, we're just going to look to reduce our appropriated fund balance that we're using to balance the budget. So,
okay.
If that wasn't there in time from the state, it's not the end of the world. We'll see it in actuality for the following year.
But from all accounts, it sounds like we're getting at least the 2%. So, yeah.
I'll wait till it's actually approved.
I
But
hear ya.
from
Yeah,
all
I'll
accounts,
knock on some wood.
it shouldn't be less than that from everything that we've heard. If anything, there's a chance it'll be slightly more than that.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Chris.
Thank
Does
you.
anyone have any other questions?
I'd like to start a little bit of discussion about this presentation is very good. From the numbers you see that the budget increased 2.21%. Everything else, tax rate, it's all around 2.2%. Anybody look at this shouldn't have any problems. It looks like well-managed budget. However, we do know one thing is that our student enrollment is going down, and there's not only a general sort of going down, but there's year to year. I don't have the previous years, but I just recall, particularly this 2 year, you can see the major drop is in high school. I would like to really raise the question that we probably should look into this kind of a enrollment analysis in this budget, because at least over several years to see what is our main issue that do we have to worry about. Okay, for example, if you compare these 2 years, the major drop is high school. Okay, high school dropped to 67 students, whereas Primrose is up 5 and SIS down 6 and few. So the high school is the major drop. Now the high school number, if you look at the 24 versus 25, high school number does not match the rest of the years. if assuming we have a very steady population, steady, economy, everything, your Primrose kids number and SIS number, SMS number, and high school number should be equal. Okay, the reason high school is more is 4 years, so you multiply another 25%. If you look at that basis, the high school number in 2024 has a bump much higher than you added this 25%. Whereas this year, 25, you look at the 700 some people, that's exactly is, 4/3 times the middle school. So we should look into our high school number in the past, why there's a bigger jump. Obviously, it's out of some kind of movement of families and transfer in and out, and also the student population in terms of percentage of students, particularly maybe we'll have to consider special education number and so on. So that is a worthwhile, number to look into over the years to understand our community, our school, population, the movement of our, constituents here, so we could actually plan ahead a little bit more.
But that's what we've been doing, I thought. I
Yeah,
mean,
so-
we've known this for a long time, just because my kids happen to be in the year that it starts to decline. So, so that year they had 8 sections of kindergarten when they came in 2000, whatever year that was, I don't know. and that's been kind of holding steady with a couple of blips here and there. Like, I think, what is it, the 4th grade?
Current fourth grade.
The current
Yeah,
fourth
fourth
grade,
grade.
and like there's another year.
Kindergarten.
They have a couple of blips here and there, but otherwise all the classes are under 200. So when they start entering the high school, right now they're sophomores, if that class of 180, when those classes of over 200 start to graduate, and then you're going to have classes that are replacing them with just 180 kids, that's where you see the drop.
You missed my point. I understood that, and I told you that. The point is there is a delta increase in high school if you look at the 24 data and 25 data, okay? That increase is, if 25 is the norm, then 24 is not a norm. Why? And if we don't know, I don't know the 23 yet. I mean, if we look at 23, 22, 21, there is a reason. We will have to find out why the delta, the bump occurs, okay? 25, you look at that, the high school and middle school is exactly matched. There's no...
Eva, I think part of it is in 24, that number still has a couple of those larger...
but that's okay. Few people is okay, but when you have 60 people...
Yeah, but I think in 24, the high school still has a couple of those larger classes. Now, moving forward to the 25, 26 projection, they only have one class that's a little bit...
The high school enrollment in 24 is why is such an anomaly, okay? Why is bumped
Because
up?
instead of having 3 classes over 200, now we have 2 classes over 200 and 2 classes under 200.
Right. So it's, yeah, we still have a couple of those larger
We'll
classes.
have 1 class over 200,
So that's
and
why
the
it's-
other 3 will be under 2.
Yeah, I think if you look at this number in the 26, 27 school year, it's going to be even closer
No,
to...
I'm not questioning the number.
Yeah.
I'm questioning why, okay?
Because people had less kids that year, and that's how many
No,
people...
you still didn't understand my issue here. There is either normal or abnormal situation, okay? If 25 is a normal situation, we look at it, it exactly matches. The 4-year high school will have more numbers, 700 students, middle school 500 some students, that's normal. Okay, then you go back to 24, you have 850 rather than 700. That's a bump, right? I'm questioning and asking, we should understand why.
So-
And we should probably go back even...
I think if you went back another year, that number's probably...
Even further.
950.
Right.
And then,
So that's a
we were
social
1,100
question
a
we
few
need
years
to
ago.
understand from a school board and management point of view, or thinking ahead of point of view. What's happening to our community? What's happening to our student population?
And I don't think that's just unique to Somers. A lot of districts have
yeah,
seen.
it may not be. Maybe
Yeah.
national phenomena.
But that's
whatever
what I'm saying.
it is.
You guys have been looking at this with
Right.
the live birth rate, and you project it out every year so that we can plan ahead and know what we're looking into and how many sections of kindergarten we're going to need and how many sections of high school we're going to need, and we play around with the numbers, right? That's what you guys do every year.
Absolutely. So, but maybe we can talk and just, so I can try to maybe better understand exactly.
To understand a little deeper and deeper into this, the total population, maybe later on general population and special ed student population. How do we really, sort of project ourselves as a school, as a district, going forward, okay? Next 5 years, next 10 years. If we understand things earlier on, it's better for us to make adjustment. I mean, I know certain things you cannot do. The buildings is already fixed, capacity is fixed, so you may not be able to adjust. But there are the things you may have to, do some.
And that
thinking.
is why we do have that demographic study done, and it has that little blip in kindergarten this year. We were aware that it was coming based on their projection. I'll say the fourth grade blip, we were not aware because that was kind of a COVID phenomenon, I think. So maybe the projections weren't as great then, but for the most part, the projections that we do get are relatively spot on, I'd say 99% accurate. So, we might be seeing another little blip in a couple of years for kindergarten, but we're well aware that might be coming, so we do track all that.
Right. And all this discussion also, the fundamental bottom line, like last meeting I told you about, is dollars per student, okay? And dollar per student, as you can see, if you just look at this 2-year comparison, it went up from $44,000 to $46,000, which is because budget increased 2.21%, student drop, okay, 2.8%. So that makes the dollar per student jump up to 5.2%.
Right.
Okay. Now.
And throw inflation in there, which was much higher than.
No, I don't think it's an inflation factor. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to maintain the around 2% increase.
Well, like I said, it is becoming more and more difficult.
It's becoming harder and harder to absorb that cost. That's the problem.
So anyway, this is a line of thinking. I think I hope that your office and our school should think ahead for the next 5-10 years.
We're always looking at the numbers.
Going to be here. Right.
No, thank you, Chris. I know you do that every year.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to, let's see, reports by committee chairs and meeting liaisons. Has any committees met?
I have a security meeting on the 3rd.
Okay.
Coming up.
So next meeting, you can give us a report. I won't go into policy because we're going to do a second reading, but you guys have another policy committee coming up anyway, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I have Brenda O'Shea, I have to forward to you guys. Brenda O'Shea sat down with Pete Rodriguez. I'm going to probably touch base with her tomorrow. And they've come up with a proposed student member procedure to kind of bring on a student member of the committee. So that's something that you guys should take a look at, and we can all sit down and review that. So I'll forward that along later on. And I don't think there's any other committees. There hasn't been other much going on other than that since our last meeting. Okay. All right. Acceptance of warrant reports, statement revenues, treasurer's report, budget status report. Accepted. Right? That's all I have to do. Resolved that the Board of Education, having received copies of minutes of the meetings of 2/11, 2/25, 3/11, 3/18, 2025, hereby approves the same.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Personnel consent agenda. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, hereby approves the attached personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I believe Harry has something special to mention on tonight's.
I did want to mention that part of the consent agenda tonight, we have the recommendation for tenure for Elizabeth Turner as our Director of Learning at the elementary level. Liz has been in the district for a few years now and has been a principal at SIS, had tenure in that role. Now she's getting tenure as the Director of Learning for the elementary division. She'll be recognized along with all the other tenure recommendations in our May meeting. But congratulations to Liz.
Congratulations, Liz. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? All right, CSE, CPSU meeting recommendations. Resolved that the Board of Education, having received copies of recommendations of the meetings as listed on the attached memo, hereby approves the same.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Business consent agenda. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, hereby approves the attached business agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Chris, do you have any comments for tonight's?
Not too much excitement on the business agenda tonight. Just some, what?
Is there ever?
Yes, there is sometimes, just not tonight. There's a few special education contracts and then just authorization to participate in Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES cooperative bids and Southern Westchester BOCES cooperative bids. So,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain? Okay. Now, before I read this, what do I have to do in order to just do the minimum? Do I do the resolve clauses, Nancy, only?
Start with the first.
Start with the first and then go to the
and
end?
say As listed.
Okay.
And then just do the now therefore be it resolved and be it further resolved. Yeah, do the bottom part then.
Okay.
And then we have to do a roll call.
Okay. All right. So here's our SECRA, or State Environmental Quality Review Act, negative declaration for proposed 2025 bond referendum. Whereas the Board of Education of the Somer Central School District is considering undertaking a capital improvements project consisting of the as listed items. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Somer Central School District hereby declares itself lead agency in connection with the requirements of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and be it further resolved that the Board of Education of the Somer Central School District as lead agency in accordance with 6 NYCRR Part 617, and upon taking a hard look at all relevant areas of environmental impact concerning the proposed project, including a comprehensive review of the full environmental assessment form, including Parts 1 and 2, and all other materials prepared in connection with the proposed project, hereby finds for the reasons set forth in the attachment to the FEAF, Part 3, that the proposed project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, and hereby adopts and authorizes the board president to execute the FEAF, Part 3, determination of significance of a negative declaration for the proposed action. And be it further resolved that the Board of Education hereby directs that its architect for the project, H2M Architects, Engineers, Land Surveying, and Landscape Architecture, DPC, to file, circulate, and publish the negative declaration in accordance with 6 NYCRR, Section 617.12B and C.
We need a motion.
Okay, now.
What was
that? So do I ask for the motion now still? Okay. Motion?
Do you want to summarize it? Just the basics of what that means.
So
that's just for the construction project.
Sure. So in order to, which it's kind of a formality because we have to be lead agency, and now we've made this negative declaration that it's a particular, basically it gives the scope of work that we propose in our proposed bond project. Basically we have to fill out some forms, or our architect fills out the forms for us, really. And then apparently I'm signing. But basically it's a negative declaration for that it's not going to rise to a certain level of disturbance in order to make sure that we don't have to fill out additional forms.
Okay.
Amanda, you're a lawyer. Why is it called negative declaration?
Because it has to rise to a certain level above, if we do too much work, then it's going to rise to a different type of action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
But negative being that it's not.
That it's less than, so that we can keep it in this form and not have to fill out a different form.
Good, thank you.
Okay,
Can we
roll
have a
call.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Nancy.
And then, okay, so now we have to do a roll call because this is what bond council wants. Amanda Kendall, how you vote?
Yes.
Chad Olson?
Yes.
Ife Chang?
Yes.
Patrick Barbero,
Yes.
Dominic DiMartino,
Yes.
Daryl Mundis,
Yes.
Margaret DiLorenzo.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so same question for this one. Okay, so this is the proposition for construction of improvements to and reconstruction of school district buildings and facilities. This is what's going on the ballot in May.
Mhm.
Do you want me to read this whole thing, or?
No, you can just do the top and say as listed, and then you can just do the resolved.
At the very end, okay, which is most of it anyway, so.
That's most of it, sorry.
All right, no problem. Be it resolved by the Board of Education of Somer Central School District, Westchester County, New York, as follows, as listed, I should say. Section 1, the capital improvement proposition hereinafter set forth is hereby authorized to be submitted for the approval of the qualified voters at the annual school district meeting and election to be held in said school district on May 20th, 2025. The capital project described therein has heretofore been determined to be a type 1 action as to which a negative declaration has been made by this Board of Education. Section 2, the school district clerk is hereby authorized and directed to include as a part of the notice of the annual district meeting an election notice with reference to the submission of said proposition in substantially the following form. Notice is hereby further given that at said annual school district meeting and election to be held on May 20th, 2025, the proposition for construction of improvements to and reconstruction of school district buildings and facilities shall the following resolution be adopted to wit. Resolved that the Board of Education of the Somer Central School District is hereby authorized to construct improvements to and reconstruction of school district buildings and facilities, including original furnishings, machinery, equipment, apparatus, appurtenances, site improvements, including athletic field-related improvements, and incidental improvements and expenses in connection therewith, at a maximum estimated cost of $63,919,864, with $1,825,000 Capital Reserve Fund 2022 monies to be expended therefore, and that the remaining $62,094,864 of said amount, or so much thereof as may be necessary, shall be raised by the levy of a tax upon the taxable property of said school district and collected in annual installments as provided by Section 416 of the Education Law. In anticipation of such tax, obligations of said school district shall be issued. The school district has determined that the improvements are a Type 1 action pursuant to the regulations of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, promulgated pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, the implementation of which is as proposed, the school district has determined will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. Secret compliance materials are on file in the office of the school district clerk, where they may be inspected during regular office hours upon appointment. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, Amanda Kendall,
Yes.
Chad Olson,
Yes.
Ife Chang,
Yes.
Patrick Barbero,
Yes.
Dominic DiMartino,
Yes.
Daryl Mundis,
Yes.
Margaret DiLorenzo.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So this is just attendance at a conference. Resolved that the Board of Education of the Somer Central School District does hereby approve a request from the Board of Education trustee Amanda Kendall to attend the Westchester Putnam School Board Association's webinar Students, Smartphones, and Social Media on March 31st, 2025 at a cost of $60.
So moved.
Second.
So this is just, I thought it was timely since we have to come up with a cell phone policy, so I'm hoping to just attend it and report back, and I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Thank you.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Stipulation of settlement. Be resolved that the superintendent of schools is hereby authorized and empowered to execute the stipulation of settlement signed on March 18th, 2025 by the parent of student XX1201, and the superintendent is further authorized to take all action necessary to effectuate the terms of this agreement.
Hey, let's go
So
ahead.
moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. This brings us to our policies. There's going to be the second reading and adoption. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Somer Central School District does hereby accept the following revised policies for second reading and adoption. 1120 school district records, 4772 graduation ceremonies, 4773 diploma and credential options for students with disabilities, 5500 student records, 5550 student privacy, 8130 school safety plans and teams, 8635R info and data privacy, security, is that what this is? And breach and notification, and 9520.6 rights of employees to express breast milk in workplace.
So moved.
Second.
Does anyone have any comments on the policies before we adopt them? We're good. This is the second reading, so we went over them last time.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. This brings us to our second public comment. If anyone is still here and would like to make a second comment on public comment on any non-agenda items or general school topics. Okay. Then that brings us to our final comments.
Okay. This is a big night full of content, and there was so much to comment on, especially the athletes and our drama club, and then our budget. I mean, there was so much content, and it was really rich and full tonight. One thing that stands out for me were the Special Olympic athletes and the coaches, and I feel like they permanently have a place in my heart. I was so moved, so thank you very much. Next.
Chris, thanks again. You really packed the house for your budget speeches.
I do my best.
Congrats to Liz Turner on getting tenure. Again, to the middle school students that did the Matilda concert this past weekend. Again, to the student athletes, and also, not just the athletic achievements, but the academic awards they received as well.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on our student council president's presentation. Mentioned about WestSEF and ISEF and so on. And I attended the WestSEF conference. It was very impressive. We have 770 participants, almost 100 or more than 100 people awarded as winners of some category of competition. And also Somers have performed very well, as you heard some of them mention. I think we probably should invite some of the WestSEF, contestants and the winners to our board, and I recognize them. If I still, Senator, please forgive me. I think that it's dear to my heart. I like to see that improve, and particularly, WestSEF come to Somers. I would say I did push for it, and I am proud that we are now sort of on the map, okay? And I would like to see more in the ISEF, and any winner that we have, we should recognize them, at the board and so on, okay? So that's my point. The second one, I want to echo Margaret about special ed Olympics and so on. Watching, the kids, you cannot help but feel that Somers School is very special. We do provide a lot of good services to special ed students, and we also see results. I remember a year ago or two, we have special ed students that graduate with some achievement in the B.O.E program and other activities, so on. It's really nice for us to recognize them. So I did mention this student enrollment population as an issue we should look into, but I think this also is one of the elements we should understand. Our student population, what service we offer for different segments and so on. So that's what tonight really brought me to speak about this. Okay, thank you.
Big congratulations and a great job to our Special Olympic athletes. That's truly amazing, and the coaches do an excellent job. So congratulations to them. And to our winter athletes,
speak loud.
Absolutely amazing. Excellent job. Keep up the good work. And to those of you who are going into the collegiate athlete field, good luck to you all. I'm sure you're going to do great. Thank you for the Mean Girls cast and crew coming by to give us a little taste of what the play is going to look like. Good luck to you. I'm sure you'll do great. To the WESEF award winners, excellent job. To all the Somers kids who participated, excellent job as well. Keep up the good work. And thank you to Chris and Liz. Congratulations. And that's all I got.
I always feel like I just get to say yes, yes, what everyone else. I agree with what everyone else said. I think tonight, just to kind of encapsulate my own thinking about what we saw tonight, was just the so many different pathways to success for our students across the board, whether it's on an athletic field, whether it's on a stage, whether it's in a science fair, whether it's those kids, all of those athletes who are here tonight. It's just really across the board, and it really shows me once again, as if I needed to be reminded of this, that there's a place for all kids in our schools, right? No matter what their interests are, no matter how they succeed, no matter whether they're, at the top of the science game or they're on an athletic field or on a stage performing. It's all there for our kids, and we need to keep doing everything we can to make sure all those opportunities are there for each child to reach his or her full potential. Thanks, Chris. Congratulations to Liz. I also just wanted to mention, I saw something that was put out by the high school counseling department last week, where they've launched a career resource service for high school kids, where they're encouraging parents to sign up as resources for kids, so that if some of our kids are looking at career fields that some of us as parents might not know anything about, there's going to be a database that'll be available where other parents could say, hey, I can advise your kid about going into the law. Margaret, you can advise my kid about, real estate management, or you can advise a kid about law enforcement, or we got so many resources in our families in this town. Let's put that to use. So I would encourage everyone to take advantage of that and sign up as a mentor resource for career counseling for the high school kids. I think that's a real opportunity to keep a lot more parents, a lot more families engaged with opportunities for our graduating, or other high school kids who are looking at different career options. So well done to the high school counseling department for putting that together.
Oh man, for sure. There is a lot to be proud of. Just on display. Very well said. There, the breadth and depth of involvement for our students that we have available, I think is just fantastic. And I appreciate, check out Somers Facebook page, the Somers Central School District Facebook page. Make sure you keep updating. There's so many good things that keep going on, that keep happening, and accomplishments, and that's a great place to be able to peek in and get a taste of what's going on. I'm not going to try to repeat a whole bunch of things, but I'm always really proud of our athletic teams that are getting the academic honors, and batting 100 2/3 of the way is excellent, and that would be great if we do that in the spring as well. That'd be that's just such a great accomplishment. Reflects so well on obviously the students, on their coaches, and the values that they're instilling in them and promoting, and the families, of course. I mean, this all comes from somewhere. Oh boy! As part of all of that, the budget. This is what we're investing in. This is what's coming out of it, and we're reaching and having opportunities for all of our students. And so I know we always appreciate that from the community. Be thoughtful of that coming up on the vote, and as you look at the budget and realizing who that's affecting and what we're doing with the money that's coming into the district. Sorry about all my ums tonight. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And then with the care of the facilities, with the bond project, there's really no other way as a school district to do those types of projects and those types of repairs. It's just, the nature of how it needs to be done. It's a lot of money and a big project all at once that you just can't do out of your general fund. So the best way is the way I think we've been managing it. It keeps how we manage our taxes at a pretty even level. So if you have any other questions, I know Chris is always happy to take your questions and help guide you and explain anything that might not be clear. Oh boy. No, a lot of great stuff going on. Thank you, everyone. Very proud of my Charlotte. Takes after my wife. Proud of all my daughters. They all take after my wife.
All right. Well, I had the opportunity to go see Matilda on Friday night, and I have to say the kids, I mean, not only did I see them here, obviously, for that one song, but they did phenomenal, amazing job. I know a lot of work went into that, and it was really enjoyable. Because I actually had seen Matilda on the Yorktown stage not that long ago because we had a friend in it, and to see the kids pull off just as great a production on our middle school was wonderful. So congratulations to all of them. I'm not going to repeat all of the WestF award winners since Jimmy did that this evening, so I think that's great. But yes, congratulations to Charlotte for making it to ICEF through NICEF this weekend. That's amazing. Her project was amazing. I actually had the opportunity to go check out WestF when it was here on March 15th. Yep, that's right. Congratulations to the Destination Imagination kids. I understand there's 3 Somers teams that were selected to move on to the state tournament held in Binghamton this upcoming weekend. So good luck, best of luck to eat or not to eat, the Quicksilver Swans and the Fierce Fish. I hope that they do great this weekend. And yes, of course, congratulations to the student athletes. What great accomplishments. And I'm really happy to have had the Special Olympic athletes recognized tonight with all the other winter athletes. They are truly amazing to show our commitment to life, I think, learning inclusively for everyone in our school district. So to me, that was very special. Congratulations to Liz on her appointment of tenure. And thank you, Chris, for the wonderful budget presentation. I think it does get better every year, and I know that it's always a challenge. It continues to be a challenge with rising costs and inflation and us absorbing a lot of costs. But I think you do a great job at shifting things around where we need to. And then with this bond project, again, what Chad was saying, it's so important to make sure this is really our only opportunity to be able to maintain the buildings at the levels that we're used to. And remember that we have debt falling off to add the debt back on. It's not like we're trying to increase our debt at all. In fact, we're not. So that's important in our tax calculation, our property tax cap calculation, to keep our debt level neutral or level, so that we don't have wild tax swings, which I don't think anyone here wants. So I look forward to those opportunities in the next couple months of being able to bring the community in and getting them to have a question and answer periods with our architects, our construction management, and get the tours of the building and really have an understanding of the work that we're proposing to do, because it's important. It's not going to be like super exciting work all around, but not all of it, but it's going to be important work that has to get done. So thank you. All right, Harry.
Okay. Yeah, kind of liken the bond project to like a home equity loan for the work that you have to do on your house. You don't necessarily want to do it, but you have to do it, and you pay for it over a period of years. In this case, we're doing it as the debt for previous bond projects falls off. We're bringing on new debt that will keep our tax cap calculation level. So it's tax neutral in that sense, which is a good thing for our calculations going forward. So that part said, I also want to congratulate the athletes and the coaches that are honored tonight for their Winter Sports Awards, especially the Special Olympic athletes. I want to thank Jimmy Gallivan again for his presentation, the update on the Student Council, and his participation in the national event in Washington, D.C. He's done a number of presentations throughout the country so far as the state representative, New York State representative for Student Council. I'd also like to congratulate the SMS Drama Club students for Matilda Jr. this past weekend, and in advance, the SHS Drama Club members for Mean Girls coming up next weekend, and the students who presented tonight. There were 18 students involved in WESF last Saturday. I was there with two of my grandchildren, 5th grader and 3rd grader at SIS. They were very, very impressed. And we did see Charlotte's presentation, a number of other Somer students. Dr. Bronstein and his daughter were also there, and we toured some of the Westlake students and Mamaroneck students, because he lives in Mamaroneck. And then Thursday night, the presentations, we saw 11 Somer students receive awards for that, including Charlotte, Chad's daughter, and Ife's grandson. Although he's not a Somers resident, he's a Pelham Pelican. He was also one of the award winners. I'd like to congratulate or thank Chris and his team. He doesn't do it all himself.
Definitely do not.
For his presentation on the budget. And then Liz, finally, congratulate Liz for her tenure in this position. And that's it.
Okay.
Could I add a little bit? I just want to tell Harry and Amanda, I will be absent next meeting. This is reminded me by people talking about work ethics nowadays. People should keep good attendance, be honest at work. So I want to ask your permission for be absent next meeting.
Approved. All right. Resolved that this regular meeting of the Board of Education be adjourned.
So move.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?